Hey everybody, it's Justin Stubleski from the Camera Shop of Muskegon. It has been quite a while since you guys have seen my face. Actually, just last week, Wednesday, with Sigma's very own Brian Matsumoto. But I am here this week with none other than our house famous Mr. Olympus himself, Mr. Mike Amico. House famous, yeah. I mean, West Michigan famous Mike Amico.
It's been a while since we've been on, so it's good.
Yeah. No, it's been like, how long has it been? Has it been like a couple months since we've seen you?
Yeah, I think we skipped last month. It's been a couple of months. So
wow.
Good to see you guys.
Well, it's good to see you, Mike. I mean, I feel bad not having seen you in forever.
Please, this is my connection to the world. Nothing has changed.
I know, right? It's like this is the only way we can tap into society.
Maybe a few extra pounds, some Dunkin' Donuts coffee. It's all the same.
Where's mine? You didn't order me any coffee.
It's my nightly coffee run. So,
well, we got some great people tuning in. We've got Karan Newbill, who's patiently waiting, and she's saying hiya. How you doing, Karan? Karen,
hey
Karan. Hopefully, I'm pronouncing that right. We got Brad Walker saying hello to Brad. We've got Richard Kefkin, who's a big fan, and Mike Tieford, John Thomas.
Hey, Mike.
Karen saying red wine is good too, and I am.
Red wine is really good. Yeah.
Red
Paso
wine.
Robles.
Of course, I'm a Riesling fan myself, so a nice chill glass of Riesling goes a long way for me. David Black is saying hi, Mike. Don said that he misses you stopping by. So
how you doing, David? So I miss going down and seeing everybody. It's over in Louisville. But definitely miss seeing everybody, just the accounts. This is my out to the world right here. So it's been very interesting. Beautiful day. The last couple of days, I haven't even gotten out of the house. So it's been really interesting. But yeah, so tonight we're going to actually do a first look.
A first look of what, Mike? See, now you're directing the show. Who's supposed to be leading who here?
Well, we have a couple of new products that we've introduced in the last couple of weeks.
Yes, you have.
One being the Olympus OMD E-M10 Mark IV.
Mm-hmm.
So our entry level has been updated, and also the 100 to 400, the new 100 to 400 lens, which is a gorgeous lens. So we're gonna do a little first look on those. I have a presentation I can do. Great. We also announced today a beta software for Mac for webcam.
Ooh.
Yeah, which I'd have to look at the specifics because I haven't checked it out. But yeah.
Is it ready for PC or just Mac?
Oh, we already had it ready for PC. That was a month ago. This is just the update with Mac. So,
great.
Yeah. So
that's exciting.
And, that's really cool. So I wanted to just kind of mention that. And I have it right here. So it's kind of cool. So you can check that out on Facebook on the Get Olympus once that focuses.
You got to get your hand in.
There we go.
Face.
Oh, that's not going to work. No, there you go. Available now.
We believe in high technology here at the Camera Shop of Muskegon and Mike Amico with Olympus.
I had to rearrange stuff so that I could. I'm utilizing my Mac now, my old iMac from 2012. I have a 27-inch, and it's been sitting in the corner. So of course, I had to buy like $100 worth of cables from Apple to get it to work. But now I'm using that as a monitor. So unbelievable. But they have that market cornered, right? So anyway, you guys, so it's good to be back, and I do want to get going and just kind of give you an insight as to some of the new stuff we've introduced. It's pretty exciting. I mean, E-M10 Mark IV is awesome. I actually have one here with me. As far as the 100 to 400, I do not. I had it, but somebody else has it right now. So somebody on my team had to borrow it, which is fine. Hey, Faith, how you doing? But still a fantastic lens. I got to shoot it for a couple of weeks, and it was just awesome. So that said, Justin, I can actually share, if you want, my screen.
Yeah.
And go ahead and do like a little first look presentation I have.
And
let's see if we have anything funky that happens here.
And because we're doing this, I actually just popped in my hard drive because I forgot that I've got 100 to 400 shots that I can show people. So I'm kind of stoked about that.
Yeah, that's right. We have that going on. So let's see if you can you see that?
Yeah, I got it connected.
All right, because I can't see you. Now, do I have to get rid of that sharing thing on the bottom, or is that
not you should drag it down out of the way so everyone can see.
Escape a little bit. Yeah, it's weird to see that. Okay, there we go. We'll do that and do that. That's a little better, right?
Yeah, and then you just have a timer running at the top of your presentation.
Yeah, that's showing from my other screen. So let me
let me
get out of that. There we go.
Oh, that kills it.
That killed the whole thing, didn't it?
No, it's
Yeah.
okay. Oh, show navigator. Click that. No, that's not it.
Nope, I don't want to show that.
Oh, well, it doesn't matter. We know what the time is.
You know what time it is. You know what? I can get rid of this. Hold on a second. There's another way to do this. Let me bring it over to my other screen and see if that kills it. Nope.
No.
Still going to show it.
It's okay.
So weird, man. Well, we all know it's 5:05, so I'm timing myself.
Just yeah, we're yeah, that's okay. That's good. That's fine.
Okay, very interesting. Any rate, so we want to do a little first look here, you guys, and I want to keep time. So we're just double checking the time. So the E-M10 Mark IV. I mean, the E-M10 series, the entry level series from Olympus. I've always enjoyed this series. You know, Justin. I mean, you know, I've always said like the mirrorless camera companies, not just Olympus, have always had like this kind of a step up in the entry level, in my opinion, because we've always had like some extra features, right? Than you would get on some of the entry level, quote unquote, you know, DSLRs. So, you know, this is no different. The E-M10 series always did that. We had things like live composition in there, and you know, all these like step up features you'd get into your E-M5 series or your E-M1 series. And this really isn't any different. It's a real nice refresh though of the E-M10 Mark III. Really nice refresh. So very similar, but a lot of updates in the places that really needed it, you know. So, you know, again, in this presentation, you're going to see a lot of marketing towards, you know, sort of that entry-level user or somebody stepping up from a smartphone. But quite honestly, the E-M10 to me is a camera that anybody can use. I mean, it's just a nice, small, compact camera for Micro Four Thirds. It's got a lot of great features. The only thing you're losing out on is really having the ability to have weather resistance. That's really the only thing. So but I think it's a great camera for everybody, but you will see the marketing tend to lean towards, you know, this type of group. Which makes sense. I mean, as you're stepping up from a smartphone, it does have a lot of cool features that would work for that, you know, that category. So we've improved the image quality in the camera. We've made it a lot, you know, easier to shoot and share. And we've improved the portability a little bit. So you'll see these three things as we kind of go through. And I'll make it pretty quick on the presentation. The 5-axis stabilizer has been improved, kind of typical to what we do when we update a camera. We usually improve the 5-axis stabilization if we can, and this is no different. So we've gone from like 4 stops of compensation to 4.5. So not a huge increase, but an increase at any rate. So definitely a better stabilization system, which is cool. And here's an example of that. So this is using a full frame camera on the left, and then you have the E-M10 Mark IV on the right. And, you know, honestly, to be fair, I mean, having that smaller sensor, you know, we're actually going to have a better stabilization system. It's just the way that physics are, because you have that ability to move that sensor a lot more within that body, right? There's not as much in the body. You have some space to move that around. So it really does a great job as far as the stabilization in our cameras. And it's one of the things that we really lead the industry on, I believe.
What, the image stabilization?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, you guys have one of the best image stabilization systems ever. It's great.
They've always done a great job on that, you know. What's cool about this camera, now you still have contrast detection autofocus. You don't have the phase detection, but they're using the same algorithm now as the EM1X. So your continuous autofocus has been completely improved and updated, which is amazing. So same algorithm as your EM1X, and your eye detection and face detection is the same as the EM1 Mark III, which has been greatly improved in the Mark III. So your autofocus capability is going to be a lot better as far as being accurate in this camera than it was before on the 3. Sorry about that. Than it was on the 3. So I made the mistake of having coffee instead of water. So, but yeah, I mean, the accuracy of that eye detection, especially on the EM1 Mark III, is getting comparable to like what you're seeing on the Sonys, which always kind of nailed it in that. So, you know, this is a really nice upgrade for the camera, especially in that category. We've added the 20 megapixel live MOS sensor. So this to me is probably the biggest update in the camera, because now the whole line has a 20 meg sensor. Before we still had the 16 meg sensor, Justin. So it's kind of like, you know, it's okay, it's fine, does the job. But having 20 megapixels just gives you a little bit more to work with if you have to crop or you want a little bit more detail. Now this says that it has a new TruePic 8 processing engine. The EM10 Mark III also had the TruePic 8. I would say it's just been, you know, updated, you know, as far as having the new eye detection and stuff like that, different capabilities. So it's more of kind of like an improved version, I guess you could say, of the Troupic 8, but not a new processor. So again, the handheld 4K video is amazing, especially when you're using, the stabilization. So you have your different scene modes, and they've added a sweep panorama mode. I know that sounds like, oh, big deal, sweep panorama. Like every camera has sweep panorama, but with Olympus, well, it's something that we never really had much. The EPL9 had it. The OMD cameras don't have it. Sometimes we have the ability to do panorama with guidelines, and then you have to put it together in software after. But we never really had the sweep panorama that puts it together in the camera in too many of our cameras. And so it's kind of cool that they put it in the camera. So for us, that's new.
That's good. I like that. Is that something that's trickled down?
No, because it's not in the 5. It's not in the EM1s. It really kind of, I believe your TG6, I believe, has it. I know your EPL9 had it. So it kind of trickles over, I guess. But it's just something that they added to it. So, a simple thing, but again, it's something that a lot of people expect in a camera like that. Mm-hmm. So it's good to have it. As far as advanced photo mode, that's where you could find your panorama. So they put it in there, which is kind of cool. Yeah. And you can see your other, modes here. So the thing with the E-M10 III and then kind of carried over to the 4 is that, some of the things that you would find in your other modes on your other OMD cameras, like for instance, multiple exposure or HDR or the different bracketing modes. In the E-M10 III series, they put that in your like scene modes, or in what I should call the AP mode, the advanced photo mode. So you flip your dial to AP, and that's where you'll find your multiple exposure, you'll find your bracketing, you'll find your silent mode, but you can't really get to it in the other modes. Now, that's changed a little bit in this camera, which you'll see, but they just made it easy. Again, they're going for a category of a newer shooter getting into their interchangeable lens camera. So you got to keep that in mind when you look at this camera with the way they've done certain things. You have your art filters, right? We've added another art filter, which is instant film, which is kind of cool. So the art filters are amazing, man. I mean, you can, people laugh at the art filters. I think they're awesome, man. I love the dramatic tone. I love the bleach bypass. I love the grainy film. But dramatic tone with outdoors, I mean, you can do some really cool stuff. So art filters are very fun. Shoot JPEG and RAW, and you get both. It's just a cool thing to play with. So instant film is going to be fun, especially for this category, and you'll see that in 1 second why.
Oh, it's my new favorite one, actually. I use that one all the time.
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, here's one that I did with an art filter a couple weeks ago. I mean, just to give you an example of just playing around and having fun. There's an original shot on the top left, and here's a shot with an art filter. So, it's kind of cool what you can do. I mean, I played with this a little bit, but it's fun.
Quick question, Mike.
Yeah.
Your PowerPoint that we're seeing is 2 individual slides at the same time. Is it possible to see one at a time?
Yeah, I don't know why it's doing that. I'm seeing one on my other screen. Maybe it's because I have 2 monitors up.
Yeah, and Faith was saying you need to swap one and 2 monitors. So you need to swap the 2. Yeah.
How about if I get rid of one?
You could.
Let's try this, you guys. Give me a second.
There we go. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
Is that better?
That is 100% better.
Let me drag this. Oh, I can't drag that out of the way. Let me drag that out of the way a little bit. Hold on. I'm coming back here.
Woo, look at that. Behind the scenes.
Yep. It's all right. There we go.
There we go.
Is that a lot better?
Yeah.
You're going to see me sideways, but that's okay. All right. So again, easy shooting and sharing, right? And that's the key. Thanks, Faith, for telling me that. I can't see anything when I'm doing the presentation, so I need you guys to be my eyes when I'm doing the presentation. So, but obviously, easy shooting and sharing. Again, you have your filters going on here, and you can sort of adjust with the slider on the filters. It lets you adjust the filter level. That's really cool, right?
Oh, so that's a new feature where you can increase or decrease the thing. Oh, that's
you couldn't do that before. Cool. Yeah, it's really cool. So you can adjust the intensity, sort of like if you're on Olympus Workspace and you're adding a filter after. You can adjust the intensity. That's kind of cool.
No, that's perfect. I mean, I know you could kind of do some of that, but now there's just a little. It's almost like you're in the auto mode. You had the ability to kind of adjust the sharpness and clarity, or the saturation, and now you're just kind of bringing that adjustment to the actual filter itself. So I love that there's more control to that.
Yeah, and think about it again. You got to think in terms of the category, the audience, right? Somebody that really wants to play with the camera. If I'm stepping up from a smartphone, I'm used to having all this control with my smartphone by the touch of my finger, right? So
Yeah.
being able to do that on touchscreen, adjust your filters, as much as it may sound, it's fun, but it may sound kind of, gimmicky to us. It's not gimmicky to somebody coming from a phone that wants to play around. This is kind of cool. So, and this is part of the reason for that. You actually have the ability now to flip the screen all the way down. So you still have your 45 degree and your 90-degree flip with your screen. So you can look at it 45 degrees. You can, angle it down 90. You can check out over a crowd or what have you. But now you can flip it down so you have a dedicated selfie mode. It takes about a second, I believe. You press the camera button. Takes about a second, takes the image. But again, think about the art filters. Think about all that stuff you can do. Take a selfie, and it's all right there. So pretty cool. And here you go with the selfie mode. So yeah, it activates after 1 second after the touch. So you could do movie, you could do touch shutter, you could play it back, but a little selfie mode.
Well, in the custom timer mode, there, the third button or the middle button between those two,
yep,
actually allows you to have the ability to take multiple shots. So you could program it to be custom timer with 5 frames. So you press the selfie, you press the shutter button, which is that camera indicator in the middle. And what it'll do is it'll suddenly take 5 consecutive shots, which is a really nice thing because then you can capture just the right moment and present it to people.
It's very cool, man. I mean, I love the little E-M10 cameras. They're just so fun.
And as far as what you were talking about, like with what we see on our cell phones, I would like to think that Olympus is the closest thing to getting a camera and a cell phone in one. I mean, it's kind of like the closest bridge to kind of having some of this stuff. And the closer that we move to computational photography, or that Olympus kind of, engages with this computational photography, I think you're going to see more of that meld between those two technologies.
Yeah, I agree with that. When I came over to Olympus 5 years ago, that's one of the first things I noticed already, 5 years ago, was that the touch screen in the cameras, or the app that you use to control your camera, they worked very smooth 5 years ago. And so as the years have progressed and the processors have gotten better and better, more computational stuff being added, it just works really smooth. And I've enjoyed that with the Olympus. They really do have a great knack for making it work in the camera. And I think that that's a huge bridge right now as we kind of meld those two together, like you said. Mm-hmm. Pretty cool. Now you also have some Bluetooth in this camera. So similar to your E-M5 Mark III, you now have Bluetooth capability for importing your images, which is going to be a lot more of a solid connection. You can also use your Wi-Fi. But sometimes you do have, connection issues here and there, and Bluetooth seems to be a little bit more of a better communication, if you want to send some images over. So you can always be connected. So you can send your pictures over, you can play them back and stuff like that. Now, you do have obviously your app for your live view remote control or your remote release. Which is kind of cool. And check this out, Justin. There's a new feature on this. It's a night display mode for the remote.
Oh, look at that. I just got that update because literally I had somebody in here and, 5 minutes before, like 10 minutes before we're supposed to go on.
Yeah, you saw this?
No. This young man who just purchased an E-M5 III, he's like, hey, can you show me the Wi-Fi mode real quick? And I logged on to mine, and I noticed that, like, why is it asking me to take a survey? Because it wants to know what kind of photography I'm going to shoot.
Right.
Yeah, it ends up being that it went through an update because all the new icons and stuff are different. So I got this. Yep. It must be this because all the icons look cartoony like that. So
yeah, it's kind of cool. So it's the new update. So it probably makes it a little bit easier to use, but I love this little night mode for the remote shutter because now you don't have that light kind of showing up when you're trying to shoot at night.
Yeah.
Pretty cool, man.
Yeah, the red is nice.
Yeah, it's really nice, man. So that's a nice update. So again, some nice updates going on. That's for all the cameras as far as the app goes. But you're able to get your how-tos and all that with your tutorials with your OI Share, which we had before. So it's a little bit lighter than the other models. So they came in a little bit lighter. I mean, you were already polycarbonate on the other cameras for the E-M10, but this one they just were able to make a tad lighter. What I love about it, though, I mean, the most amazing thing, right, Justin? I picked up this camera, and the first thing I noticed was that my hand fit in this grip like perfectly. It's just this amazing. All they did was carve out a little piece in this grip, and it just made your finger just go right in there, and it just feels really good. And I can't believe such a simple change ergonomically makes this camera so much different. It just feels amazing in the hand for an E-M10. Unbelievable.
Yeah. And that's something, like, I've told people about that. I've kind of talked about it. I've, you know, I don't have any here to show anyone, but it's something where I wish they did it with the 5 Mark III. You know,
I know
that would be such a game changer, even just for the 5 Mark III. That would have been a nice incorporation.
You don't need a grip. Yeah, you don't need a grip.
Well, I mean, and I get why they probably left it, because that they designed that that grip to go on it, the ECG3 or whatever it is.
Right. Yeah. But it's a great addition. I mean, it's just amazing to me again how simple a change that is, and how much it really changed the feel of that camera. So very cool.
And it's a perfect fit too, because when you hold a 10 Mark III, your finger goes to the exact place just naturally.
It's just right there.
Yeah.
Just awesome. So you can charge your camera via USB now, just like your E-M5 Mark III. So that's always a welcome addition. So pretty much most of the whole line now is like that, which is cool.
And I actually have somebody who's waiting to buy this camera till the end of September because of the charging feature. I mean, they want an entry-level camera. They don't really want to go up to the 5 Mark III, but they're going to wait for the 10 Mark IV because they want that USB charging. They see that as a huge value added attribute.
I like it on my cameras when I'm traveling. You know, I plug it into the car while I'm traveling, let it charge up a little bit, and it's just such a convenient way to use your camera. You know, the interchangeable lenses, it's just the Olympus expandability. We all know that. They're going to show the smaller lenses as the system expandability, so we can kind of skip through that. You know, for me, it's like, you know, you buy the 14 to 42 lens, you get the 40 to 150 with it, so you have a little kit. And really your next lens is probably going to be like a 30 macro or a 60 macro, you know, something to really grow with a little bit. Or you go 14 to 150, which has all-in-one, or one of the 1.8 lenses. So nice compact kit, you know. But I'm not going to go through all these because we all know the lenses. And just a couple of extras. So you got your one-touch e-portrait added in auto mode, which is kind of cool. They added a live view boost on 2. So you can actually turn live view boost so that the brightness doesn't affect your exposure settings, which is cool. So this is kind of neat. They've allowed it now where you can get to your multiple exposure in your PASM modes, which you couldn't do before. You had to go to the AP mode. So again, they've added a couple of these features that we have on our 5s and our 1 series, but they've trickled it down back into the E-M10 series, which is pretty cool. Okay, you got your optical viewfinder capability, and just going through some of the arrow pad and stuff like that. So customizable buttons. It's the same thing as the E-M10 III really on this. So here's your differences like highlighted, Justin. So, you know, the key differences, you got your 20 meg sensor up from your 16, right? You got your 4.5 stops of exposure value compensation with your stabilization. So you're adding a half a stop, right? Still got the 121 focus points, still the Trupic 8, but it's been a little bit updated, so your eye detection and all that is there. Your mechanical shutter, you've actually been able to increase that a tad, so 8.5 to 8.7 and 5 frames per second in low from 4.8. You added an art filter, which is instant film, and you can obviously tilt the screen down all the way now, 180 degrees to do some selfies and things of that nature. You have USB charging, the weight's down about 100 grams. Well, not quite. It's actually about 30 grams. And you have Bluetooth. So it's a really nice update to the E-M10 III. I think it's a great little update. The camera is $699 for the body, retail. It's $799 with the 14 to 42 kit lens. And it's available on the 25th of September. So they should be coming very soon. But I think it's a great little piece. I think they've updated it really nice. So that's the E-M10 Mark IV, you guys. I think, you know, again, I think it's a nice refresh. It's a nice update. It's good to see it. Camera feels good, feels solid. I've always been a fan of the E-M10 III. I thought it was a cool little camera anyway. So E-M10 IV is another step, for that. So Justin, I want to get into the 100 to 400 a little bit.
Yeah.
And this is a little more exciting for some of you guys because, really this has been a hole, right, in our lineup. I mean, this has been something that was a long time coming. We have the 75 to 300, which is a great little lens. We have the 300 millimeter, which is your fixed lens. You got your 40 to 150 Pro. You can add your converters on there. So, we had like lenses, but here we are, like the cameras are just getting amazing for things like birding, right? Wildlife, just getting out there in the elements. And we're missing that one hole, this 100 to 400 hole. And we've done it. So here's the 100 to 400. So now you still have your 150 to 400 Pro lens, which is coming out this winter. But this is the lens that's sort of for the masses, I guess you could say. And I got to say, I shot it for a couple of weeks, and it's an awesome lens, man. I'm loving this lens. So 200 to 800 equivalent, focal equivalents when you're comparing to a 35 as far as your range. But it's a 100 to 400. It's an f5 to 6.3 image stabilized lens. And I do have a video as well, Justin. So let's watch that quick if we can. It's only a minute long, you guys.
A lot of people are excited about this. Faith is saying, so excited.
Oh, this lens is awesome, Faith. It's a little bit heavy. It's a couple pounds right there. 2.86 pounds. It's a little bit big because it's a 100 to 400. It's a quality lens, but it balances really well on the E-M1 III. It balances well on the E-M1X. So it doesn't feel the weight that it is. And, honestly, sometimes when you want that quality, you get like a bigger lens sometimes, and it's really nice. I mean, to me, it feels just great. I love it. I've been having a good time with it when I had it. And I can't wait to get it back and take it out again. I mean, you have your IPX1 weather sealing rating, so similar to our E-M1X. So the weather sealing is amazing. You got your zero coatings, which is unbelievable. So you have your pro coatings, but it's not considered a pro lens. It's still a premium lens. So you have that polycarbonate within the body, so it's a little bit lighter than if it was metal. And if you know the 12 to 200, Justin, it's got that same kind of zoom and focus ring where it's kind of that knurled kind of polycarbonate that goes around. It just feels really good. And the zoom is smooth. I mean, you played with the lens. The zoom is nice and smooth. It's solid. So very solid lens. Again, the cool thing about this lens is that you can get super telephoto shooting up to 1600 millimeter equivalent, and I'll show you how to do that. The optical design is very good, dust proof and splash proof, which is awesome. And again, we rated it for IPX1, which, as you guys know, we've tested our cameras and lenses way past that. But we're able to give it that designation, and just gives you kind of that worry-free splash-proof performance. The autofocus and in-lens stabilization is amazing, and we'll go through some of that. So here's one of the coolest things about the lens. Go ahead, Justin.
So really quick, and you're probably getting to it right now. David was saying, I'm looking forward to getting mine.
Oh yeah,
and you should be, because it's fun, and I can show you guys some sample images I took up in Frankfort, Michigan with this. I had the luxury of being able to try it early. We also have Faith saying a non-pro lens that will work with teleconverters.
Yes, Faith. So this is the first one. So pretty cool. So we have the 1.4 and the 2x teleconverter, which you guys know they work with only the pro lens. They work with the 40 to 150 and the 300 millimeter. Well, now they work with this lens. So the 100 to 400 will take the 1.4 and the 2x converter. So that 2x converter gets you out to 1600 millimeters. Of course, Justin, you can always hit the 2x JPEG, and get 3200 millimeters. But now again, you got to remember with 2x, I haven't shot it yet with the converters, but with 2x, you're going to be around what, an f13 in that range. So
that's fine if you're a bright sunny day.
Yeah, and most of us are out shooting during the day, so it could open up a lot of cool possibilities. But you do want to remember. I mean, I don't know about you. I was shooting the lens, and at 400, you got to remember you're at an 800 equivalent. And so I'm finding that I do want to keep my shutter speed up.
Yep.
to really get a sharp image when I'm hand holding it, but it works. It's amazing. I was getting some really nice images. I'm very impressed with the lens. I'm very impressed with it. One, because I wasn't expecting it. I'll be honest with you guys. When they said they were coming out with the 100 to 400, I was thinking, 75 to 300 size and replacement sort of thing. I wasn't thinking it was going to be more of that step up, and it was. So this is definitely a premium lens. It's pretty sharp throughout. I mean, it's a nice lens. It gives you a good quality image. For the price, it's going to be awesome, and we'll probably sell every one of them. I mean, I know I will. It's just awesome.
And the fun thing was, Karen was saying, because you're talking about how big it was, she's like, I'm a power lifter, so that'll be no problem for me.
It's not. I just want to mention it because if you're thinking like 75 to 300, you got to think more like 300 millimeter. It's more like the size of the 300 millimeter. Not quite, but right about there.
Actually, I will tell you guys right now, if you guys watched the comparative video that I did of the 100 to 400, and I have some little oopsie flubs in there about like what it can do, because the aperture when I had the 1.4 teleconverter on there didn't change.
Yeah, you didn't have an update.
Yep. And it didn't have the update, so there was some contesting things there that someone gave us a hard time about, but that's fair. It's just that's something that happens without having the good firmware. But that lens is only like an inch taller and maybe a little wider in diameter, from top to bottom than the 80 to 300, the 40 to 150 with the 2X teleconverter built onto it. So. And
the cool thing is it doesn't zoom out that much. It only comes out maybe like 4 to 5 inches. Yeah, it's not like it comes out.
It's a good size. It's a good weight. Yeah. It's considerably lighter than anything, than like a 150 to 600 contemporary for Sigma, or even a 100 to 400 for Sigma is even considerably lighter. So. Yeah. It's just a great lens, and I can't wait to show you guys some of my photos that I took with it.
Yeah, it's fun. I mean, it's definitely become my favorite lens. I carry the 300 all the time, you guys, when I'm out birding and stuff, and this lens has quickly become my favorite. It's nice to have a zoom in my bag again, and I would carry the 40 to 150. I'll throw the 2X on there. It's a nice combo. But having a dedicated zoom like this has just been awesome again. And this is an example of the 1600 millimeters there. I'm zooming out with a teleconverter. Pretty cool. I will tell you that that's my shot. That's not with a teleconverter, but that is at 400.
The frog?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. It's a sharp lens, man. Another cool thing, we've kept that telemacro shooting. So, yeah. And one of the things, Justin, that a lot of people don't realize, I mean, Olympus shooters do, but you still get all your focus points with the converters on, the teleconverters, and you still get that telemacro. So you're not losing that when you put the converter on. You're not stuck with, one focus point, or, you have all your aperture range, you have all of your focusing points. You still get your telemacro. I mean, it's a really great ability to have, with your lens. So that 1.3 meters is nice, man. To be able to focus close.
You were saying that's 4.6 feet, so only like 4.5 feet away from what you're shooting. I mean, that's another foot longer than what you can do with the 300 millimeter. But again, you've got a lens that gives you variable range from 200 to 800. So to have to be limited to being a little over 4 feet away is actually quite great for being able to do a lot of your garden macro shooting.
That's right.
So for someone who's looking to do kind of like the bug macro wildlife kind of continuity, because people who like to shoot wildlife sometimes also like to shoot the bugs up close, at least kind of like what this butterfly image represents. And now you can get one lens instead of having to get like a macro lens and a telephoto lens. So
yeah, this is me, Justin. I mean, I'll go out to like a nature realm close to me, one of the metro parks, and I'll walk around shooting birds, and I'll admit I have to do better at this. I don't get up early. I go to bed. It's like I'm out in the middle of the day. This lens is perfect. Worst time of day. And I'll be shooting birds, and then I'll see a butterfly or some caterpillars or something on a branch or what have you, and I'll just start shooting that. And sometimes you forget that we're spoiled because we have all this capability in the lens. It's great. So had a good time with that. And I have gotten some dragonfly shots and stuff now that are pretty cool with it. Again, the telemacro shooting, just going through that again. But they can use be used to shoot at an image magnification similar to a true macro lens. Pretty cool.
It is really cool.
This lens also supports focus stacking.
Ooh.
So again, this is all your pro lenses focus stacking, right? Your 30 macro, your 60 macro. Those are really the only ones that, excuse me, those are the only ones that aren't pro that support it. Now this one supports it. So you have another lens that supports focus stacking to put into your bag. Again, with the dustproof performance, and something you don't have to really worry about. I mean, we've rated it at IPX1, which is the same as the E-M10 IV, so it has the same type of sealing. So take it out in the elements, it's perfectly fine. It works really, really well. It's got a great optical design. There's 21 elements. There's a lot of high quality elements in there. Extra low dispersion elements. So they've done a great job with keeping the lens quality. Like I said, I mean, I didn't know what to expect with this lens, and I'm sold. I really like the lens. I think it's a great piece to have in your bag if you're doing a lot of wildlife, especially, or sports, what have you. Stabilization, and so it has in-lens stabilization. Great autofocus is pretty quick with the lens. It's very quick. The stabilization, I think, confused a lot of people, and it's not the sync IS, but it has stabilization on the lens, and there's 3 stops on the lens. So 3 steps of stabilization. It does work in conjunction with the body, but it's not using the full 5 axis from the body. And there's reason for that. And it has to do with the length of the lens. It's not because they crippled it or something because it's, well, let's get rid of this because it's not a pro lens, or no, it has to do with the length of the lens and how it works in conjunction to get you the best stabilization. So, to be honest, at 400 millimeters, you're better off having more of a stabilization in the lens. And that's why you have that 3 stops in the lens, and it'll access and use what it needs out of the body. So, it's working with the body, but it's not sync because it's not doing the same thing as sync. And that's sort of how that works from my understanding. So, but it works really well. I've used it and it works great. You do have your focus limiter on the side of the lens, similar to your 300 millimeter. So if you guys don't know what the focus limiter does, very easy, man. You can limit the focus distance with your lens by switching this, and it'll allow the lens to focus a little bit faster within that range that you limit it at. So, 6 meters to infinity or 1.3 to 6 meters. You're going to limit that focusing so that it's not looking for something close to you when you want to shoot far out, or vice versa. Or you can leave the whole distance, which is the center. It does have an autofocus, manual focus switch. I think that's great. The switch actually works, for me, it works fine. Instead of having the clutch that pulls back with the pro lenses, just flip the switch and you're in manual focus or autofocus. And being such a long lens, that makes sense. I believe the 150 to 400 that's coming also looks like it has a switch like that. So your stabilization on the lens, you could turn on and off on the lens. And again, it works really well. Now here's something really cool, Justin, and I had to highlight it in red because it's very important for my Olympus shooters. But if you notice, there's a lens hood.
This is beautiful.
I know
I'm reading it. I'm already liking it.
So I highlighted it in red. If you guys have had the issue with the 40 to 150 lens hood, this lens hood on the 100 to 400 will fit on your 40 to 150. And it's a normal lens hood. You just clip it on. So that's great news. You'll have one in your bag that works on both lenses. which
the ball bearings will not spring out of on you.
That's right. And I'm sorry to say that, but it does happen. So we all know it.
And I think it's just a minor design flaw. I think it's the trigger switch. I think it's like that nice locking switch is the weak point, because
whatever it is, it's a great design. It was just poorly executed, and it's probably materials or whatever, but it was a cool design, cool thought.
Well, the 60 macro has the same design, but it doesn't have the locking mechanism, and that doesn't break. So I'm wondering if it's that locking mechanism that ends up being the weak link.
Yeah, it could be. It probably is.
And just having a sliding back and forth lens hood would be sweet, you know.
But I'll take this one, flip it over.
Oh
put
yeah,
it on.
there you go.
I'm good.
Yep.
I'm good to go.
Yep.
So done. Yeah, your decoration ring and all that too.
I think we learned our lesson, right?
We did learn our lesson. And you know, guys, I always show this and I always mention it, is that, you know, we do have protection filters. Most of your manufacturers do make protection filters, and a lot of people don't know that. And the only reason I put it up there, Justin, is because there's good filters out there. You know that. You sell good filters. The ProMaster filters are good. The high end ones are really good. But every now and then you get somebody who goes, well, I don't want to put a filter in front of my $1,000 lens. So if that's the case, you know, there's always the manufacturer ones that have the zero coatings, the same coatings. But honestly, I'm a filter guy. I think if you put a quality filter on your lens, I think it's a good thing. Matter of fact, I actually have right here in my office. This is what happened to my, I dropped my 300 millimeter. And
let's zoom in.
Yeah, so I dropped my 300 millimeter and shattered my filter. So, but the lens was fine. So that's what happens sometimes. So that's why a filter is good, in my opinion.
And,
so here's go ahead.
And we do the HGX ones. We do the HGX Prime. They're coated 18 to 20 times, 18 to 22 times on both sides with the anti-flare coatings, and we have a Rain-X coating on the outside. So that way,
the same stuff they use in airlines, right?
Yeah. It's Repellent Max 2, which means that it's even anti-static. So even if like dust or something gets on it, you just use like a blower, like just a valve blower that'll take care of.
Comes right off. Yeah. Those are great filters. So I just like to mention filters in general because they, you know, to me, it's I've always learned that they're good to have, and I've always kind of gone with that. So here's a couple of my sample images. I don't have too many on here, but I only played with it for a little while. So, but you know, this is at 400 millimeters. This is a crop as well, but gives you an idea of the detail on the lens. Another one, you know, that was at about probably 200 millimeters. He was about 10 feet from me, and then this one's at 400 millimeters. So it's a fun lens, man. I mean, it's nice to have that zoom capability again. It sounds weird. It sounds like I've never had a zoom, you know, but I'll be honest, I've been in love with the 300, and I've been just shooting that 300 prime. And so I like having that long range, and this is just awesome, man. So little dragonfly at 400 B. So pretty cool little lens, man. All right, you guys, that's it for me there, Justin. So let me get out of that. And I'll stop sharing there. Okay, cool.
And I can share mine. I think I've got it on my screen, and I'll just go to this here and try to get it going. There we go. It's on the screen. So let's see. These were just some of the shots I took at Frankfurt.
Okay.
With the 100 to 400.
Oh, nice.
Let me get out of this. It's not.
I miss those lighthouses.
Oh, dude, you need to come with us sometime.
I know. I need to come up. It's been a long time.
Here, let me. I got to organize between the JPEGs and the.
Oh, was I blurry for a little while, Justin? I had a bandwidth issue.
No. It was. It's not on us. Everyone else was saying it was fine. There was just some issues with.
Oh, okay.
By the way, I have some exciting things to show with this too. So I'll get past some of these images, get into the fun stuff. Oh, here's the instant film. So this is me using the instant film filter.
Yeah, that's awesome. I like it.
And I just love kind of the pink overtones that it has with it. It's kind of contrasty. The blues, it's just like blue and pink. I just really like it.
Yeah, that's cool.
So this is mostly using the 100 to 400. So this is still the instant film filter, and you can kind of see what it's doing with the sky. But zooming in,
you're mounted on the E-M10 IV.
No, this is on my
E-M1 II?
My E-M10 II. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So that's how sharp it is at a distance. Just using, just looking at these kids in here at the end of the pier.
Very nice.
Again, just using. I mean, look at this. Starting to lose a little bit of its integrity, but that's the JPEG file. That's not even the RAW file, and I could still sharpen that some more. There we go. I'm zooming in like way far.
It's cool.
I mean, I think that was. This could have been using the digital teleconverter, so this would be 1600 millimeters from shore. and just waiting for the birds to kind of get in the shot the way I wanted.
You know, it opens up new possibilities because you throw it on a tripod or not, you rest it somewhere. 1600 millimeters, man.
Yeah, look at this. I mean, look at the glass. I mean, you can see imperfections on the glass on the other side of the lighthouse beacon right there.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just it performed fantastically. I loved it a lot. It was just really great. I got some great color out of the sun kind of peeking through and just kind of having fun with just different views. Still messing around with the instant film.
Yeah, it looks good.
Shooting at the clouds. I really wanted the light to kind of peek through like right up here, but didn't get it to go. But it was just so much fun.
It's a fun lens to have in the bag. It definitely is. So I know my customers are going to be happy with this. I know we've been waiting for it for a while as Olympus shooters, and it's a great lens. It's a great lens. I'm very happy that we have this.
I'm wondering if there's any more. Oh, so this was something. So this is my buddy Mike, and he's got an E-M10 Mark III and he's using it looks like the 7-14 is what he's using.
Yep.
And he was probably 50 yards away or something like that. And I was zooming in.
Oh wow.
I was zooming in on his camera. And like shooting over his shoulder, so I know what his shooting settings are. You know,
it's a spy lens. So if you're into the paparazzi, you guys, this is the lens.
It was just a lot of fun to use, and I know a lot of people are going to be happy to shoot with it. And I was just messing around with longer exposures, and then going back to the instant film.
That's pretty cool. That's a cool shot. Where's that?
Yeah, this is Frankfurt. This is it was a wavy day, so we got like these nice little waves kind of come over the pier. It was kind of nice.
That's that spot we went to that one time, right?
Yeah, but it was all frozen when we went. But I gotta show you guys. This is the extracurriculars. These are the only shots of the comet that I got. But this isn't what I wanted to show you. Is the comet? It's actually coming up on it.
I got nothing with the comet. Nothing.
There's the comet again.
Carl, so basically the lens will be available for consumers on the 9th of September. So, we have pre-orders going now. I don't know as far as filling the pre-orders. We should be okay. But there's a lot of them on order from all the accounts. So definitely get your order in with these guys and, make sure you're on the list so you can get a lens. But you should be able to get one fairly soon after the 9th of September. So coming up in about a couple weeks. Yeah.
And Carl's saying, how long is the wait? It just depends on how many we get with the initial shipment. But we've got a ton on order. Mm-hmm. We've ordered 14, and we've got a good chunk of them
already. 10 or 11 already sold. Yeah.
Yeah, we've got a good chunk of them reserved. So if you want one, we're going to have them. We'll be the first to have them. But this is something that I want to show you guys. This is what I'm really impressed about. So I'm so happy that I could have a chance to use this lens. Can you see this little spot right here, Mike? Do you see where my mouse is?
Yeah, I got it. Huh. Is that Saturn? Are you kidding me?
That's Saturn, dude. I shot that on a tripod because the collar, the tripod collar is Arca Swiss, so I could throw it on my tripod real quick.
I forgot to mention that. It is Arca Swiss, just like the 300. That's cool.
But that is Saturn.
That is cool, man.
That is Saturn, man. It's just so wild.
That's weird.
And I showed that to my dad, and he goes, "That's fake."
That's amazing. You got Saturn with the 100 to 400.
that is not a hot pixel, people. That's
pretty cool.
That is Saturn, like way off in the distance. And I just thought it was so cool to shoot it. I got like a decent exposure of it. This is another one, not as good. But I also did some Jupiter stuff.
It's amazing.
I just want to quickly. There's Jupiter.
Oh, nice.
With some of its moons.
Yeah.
So it was just really cool to do. It's so fun. It's so fun with those telephoto lenses to be able to look up in the sky and be like, oh yeah, there's.
That's really cool. John's asking if you use Starry Focus for that. Starry Sky Auto.
Well, since I have an EM10 Mark II.
Oh, is that are you saying that to me? Like it's my problem?
It might be. So John is saying, hey, did I use Starry Sky Focus? Because I have an EM1 Mark II, and I didn't think to check out the EM1 Mark III. I think John, our social media expert, may have been using that, so I didn't have a chance to utilize that. Now,
I still have to play with that too. I just got my 3 about 2 weeks ago. I've been shooting like crazy.
Man, so. I want one of those. My buddy,
it's a great camera, man. It's like a sleeper in the line, you know.
Well, cool. my buddy Mike Pollock, who I shot over his shoulder, you know, getting that shot with the 100 to 400, he's utilizing the live ND filter. So those waves that were crashing over the pier, he was getting stellar shots because of the live ND filter. It was doing things that I couldn't do.
It's
and
awesome.
even though I was doing like these long exposures, I actually had the thread on. I had to grab I had to grab my 12 to 100, and I had to grab my actual ND filters to thread onto the bloody thing, just to kind of get the same shots, but it still wasn't able to get the same look because of the way that computational photography works. And I was just
such a cool job, man.
And I was just so upset. And then he showed me a shot. I wish I had it with me, of a 10-second handheld shot that he took with the Starry Sky Focus that we took up in White Cloud. And it's just this beautiful shot. He goes, hey, dude, check this out. And I'm like, what? You shot it on a tripod and it's your Canon? He goes, no, this is my Olympus. And he goes, check it out. And I look on the back. I go, what? So, yeah, you got the Milky Way. Big deal. He goes, no, dude, this was handheld with Starry Sky Focus, 10 seconds. I'm like, get out of here. Just get out of here. It's just wild.
The EM10 IV is one of those cameras that, you know, Olympus sometimes comes out with, again, a refresh. And it's got the same sensor as the 2. It's got, you know, so the argument is, am I getting anything more? And really the image quality is going to be about the same, right? They're going to tweak a little bit on a new camera. But that processor, you know, and the updates, you got to remember that it's a 4-year newer camera. And so even though the guts are similar, you have all this new stuff, you know, the Starry Sky, the built-in ND, the handheld high res, you know, that's enough as a landscape shooter to make the leap and get the updated camera. That's just, you're saving money on ND filters for the most part. You have the Starry Sky Focus, which again, kind of like handheld high res, it sounds like a gimmick and it's not. It's like Pro Capture. I'm going, there's no way this is going to work. And it works. It's amazing. I get some amazing shots with that. So I always love how I can be pleasantly surprised still with the stuff that comes out, and it makes the photography fun. That's what I love about it.
It really is stupid. And real quick, just because we had some comments on, like Faith was saying.
Oh, Faith, you're right. Yes.
She was saying that she really liked the use of the instant film filter. She said that she liked how I used the instant film filter. So I want to just kind of show you guys real quick. I have some more. When I got that update, I didn't realize I had that update. I was just like, oh, I've got this, and I started shooting with it. So I'm going to share this again real quick and show you guys some other shots that I took real quick with the instant film filter that I really love. That just made it, you know, worth having. Wait for things to kind of catch up here.
Faith also said, since your friend was using the 7 to 14, the live ND is a game changer. It really is, Faith. And here's a cool tip, and I always mention this to my Olympus shooters. If you have live ND and you put it on one of your function buttons, I usually put it on the button that's next to the lens in the front. When you press that button, you turn on your live ND. If you hold the button in and turn one of your dials, front or rear, it'll change the intensity of the ND.
So I believe this is on, I think this is the EM, I don't know if this is the EM10 II or the EM10 IV. I forgot which one I took out. I guess I could look at my metadata. But this is just the Muskegon Pier, the lighthouse. And this is no filter. I think this is just kind of like auto mode. Yeah. And I love the contrast. I just love the rich tones right here. It's not as sharp as it could be, but that's okay. But immediately,
in the water,
immediately going to instant film.
That's cool.
Look at that.
That reflection is so cool.
I love the color tonality. Like right here, it just looks so nice with those pinks and those blues.
Yeah, it's cool.
And I zoomed in a little bit. I got a little bit closer.
Look at David, man. David Black says that last week while camping and drinking beer, he did a 5-second handheld Milky Way photo.
Oh, I don't doubt it.
Wow. Maybe that's what I need, David, some beer. Because when I have coffee, I can only get a tenth of a second. So maybe I need the beer to slow me down.
So these are all the instant film filter right here. So that's instant film.
That looks like instant film. That was really cool.
That's the instant film, instant film sunset. Then I switched to the sunset mode just to get the better colors out of the camera.
Yeah, you know what's cool, man, is using the live ND on shots like that where you're close up to the water.
Yeah.
Remember that shot I took up in that area? That was really cool, man. Just having the ND going, taking a close-up shot of the water. You know, sometimes you guys, there's photos right in front of you. You know, we look for this image, and sometimes it's right in front of us.
That's instant film right there.
That's cool.
I've just had a lot of fun with it. In fact, I've just found myself shooting with it more and more as I go along, just because I like the look that it has.
Thank you, Karen.
I thought I got a shot of the silver sides with the filter
so
on.
You guys, just so you guys know, Justin lives in Western Michigan. So, I mean, you want to talk about picturesque and just going out your back door and finding lighthouses all up along Lake Michigan. Such a fun place to be, and so inspirational with shooting. It's awesome, and I miss going up there. But and that's why, you know, this stuff is in his backyard. It's so cool. It's really cool.
Yeah, and Russ is saying, so this is just a testament to the Olympus camera. Russ is saying, on the E-M5 Mark II with the 75-300, I've gotten down to a half a second handheld, and that was at 300 millimeters. So only having shot with Canon, my mind was a bit blown. And here's the thing, Russ, that's just that's just a half a second on one lens.
Yeah, try to 12 to 100.
I've seen people do handheld shot. Mike Hedge, who was on here, Mike Hedge has done like an 8-second cityscape shot or a 10-second cityscape shot. I can't
do it, but people have done it. I can't do it.
I've done waterfalls. Like I went to Colorado with my buddy Ashton, and he we jaunted around taking fall photos, and I only had the 75-300 and the 7-14 with me on the Olympus. Right. I had my Sony cameras, and I had my Canon camera with the 85, and my Sony I had, you know, the 24, the 20, and I think the 35. I think that's the only thing I brought with me on those. And we just kind of jumped it around to a bunch of different places. But every waterfall we went to, I brought the Olympus, and I would sit there. My buddy Ashton would set up, kind of slow down and take all these shots, and I'm here with the 7-14, you know, tilting my screen down and like putting my palm against the water and using like the touch focus to just like
cool.
I was taking half second. I found that half a second was really good for waterfalls. A half a second to a second to 2 seconds. So I was messing around with all these shutter speeds, and I'm sitting here just snapping away like click, 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 click. So Karen was saying earlier that she's been using a D3100, and she's really excited about getting into an Olympus. And I'm telling you, Karen, it's from between what Mike has said, and it's one thing for you to say it, Mike, because you know, and it's interesting for you because you're selling the cameras, but you come from a unique position that as a salesman, for having worked in the industry for what, almost 30 years or something crazy like that.
Don't make me that old. 20 years.
20 years. Okay, I won't try to age you any quicker than we are, but
20 years in the industry. So I've been with Olympus for 5.
But 20 years, you've been with a lot of camera companies. You've seen a lot of technology between them. And you have always said it's just fun. It just makes photography fun.
It does. And not to cut you up, but Russ just said, you know, he deals with chronic pain, and so he uses the Olympus more and more. And you know, that's the thing, Russ. There's a couple things that happen with Olympus. You know, one, you have that smaller, lighter camera that a lot of my customers are older, or they have chronic pain, or they were wedding shooters and have tons of pain from shoulder injuries from carrying tons of cameras that were heavy. You know, there is that possibility of having that. So a lot of my customers are my age, you know, and it makes it fun, obviously, to do everything. But yeah, I've been with a lot of different companies. I've seen a lot of change in the industry. We all have. But I truly mean it when I say that these are so fun. I mean, it is like having a toy, right, with some of the features. And I also will say, Justin, the image stabilizer is a curse as much as it's awesome. Because sometimes if you forget to turn it on and you're used to it, I've had blurry images because I don't worry as much about my shutter speed sometimes because I'm so used to having it. It's almost like a crutch.
Well, I don't even
having it. You don't think about it. You just shoot.
I don't even turn it off. Yeah, I just don't turn it on.
You know, like on a 300 millimeter, if my lens, if I hit it on accident and it's off on the lens, I don't think about it, and I'm shooting, and I look, and I'm like, oh, it's my stabilizer's off, and I'm shooting at a 30th of a second. You know, so it's really cool. Really been amazing.
Well, sure. and one thing, you know, you were talking about, you know, chronic pain and stuff. I mean, one of our customers got it because he's got Parkinson's, and it's just one of those things where it's helped him shoot. It's helped revitalize and reinvigorate all of his shooting. And he started with the E-M5 Mark II. He then went to the E-M1 Mark II. I think he went to the E-M1 Mark II, or he jumped to the E-M1X right away, and then the E-M1 Mark III for sure. So yeah, it's just one of those things where everyone that I shoot with personally who uses an Olympus is just, they just keep on saying like, it just, like Tim Bonnet, he's like, man, I love my Sony. He says, I love shooting with my Sony. He just goes, but my Olympus is just, it's just so fun. It's just fun to do it. Yeah. And that's what I love hearing from all these full frame shooters. You know, it's just, and mine, I just shoot. I mean, mine's with me all the time. My E-M5 III, I've got a new Patagonia bag that is like a sling bag, and it fits in there with my wallet.
Carry it with you everywhere, right?
And I take it with me everywhere. It's just
every camera has its place. I mean, if I want to go shoot in the dark, or I want to shoot, you know, and zoom in on a screen to somebody's eyebrow and see tons of detail, well, that's what you're getting from those cameras, and that's cool. That's where they shine, right? But if I want to go out and have fun and be rugged and take a small camera kit with me, it's kind of like an everywhere camera kit. That's where I shine. That's where these cameras really shine, and they're a lot of fun. And so it really brings the fun back to your man purse.
Yeah, I was just going to pull this up. Karen's having some fun. She says, "Oh, I'm excited to try it out." I don't know if she's talking about the Olympus cameras or my man purse. I'm very proud of this. I'm gonna break this puppy out.
You never do that to Justin, Karen. It's gonna. Here we go. Justin with his man purse and God knows what
else. Throw me under the bus.
So, I have so many bags, Justin. I got to say, that's a whole nother subject. We can go an hour on bags.
Man purse,
it's a perfect camera bag. I have so many ones.
I call it a Merce. Okay, it's a sling. So I just put it on right here, and it's right there. Open it up. Got everything I need right there. Of course, you can't go anywhere without your handy dandy masks.
You do look kind of ridiculous with that, though, I got to say.
And then look, I just put it right here.
You know what, though? It doesn't look like a camera bag. That's the cool
I know thing. That's the thing, is it fits right there in the bottom. I still got plenty of room for my wallet and stuff on the top.
So back in the day, we had this thing called a fanny pack. That's come back now, kind of like that, but it went around your waist. And everybody makes fun of my old pictures, but here we go again.
This is so much more fashionable. And really, Think Tank really makes these bags. They have the Photocross. They have the Photocross 10 and Photocross 13. So this one, unfortunately, I wish it was padded. And I need to reach out to the guys at Think Tank and say, hey, you need to check out this Patagonia bag. If you can make a Photocross, like a Photocross 8, that's about this size, that just fits one camera, and it's like weather sealed. Oh man, it's awesome. And she goes, yes, fanny packs and bike shorts.
Yes, I have images.
and at least this isn't a fanny pack, and I'm not wearing bike shorts, thank God, because with these bird legs, it would not.
I actually got hired one time in spandex, Justin, but we're not going to go there. I was wearing spandex and I got hired. We don't need to go there.
Aren't we supposed to be talking about cameras? I mean, we're
well, now we're talking about the 80s, but hey, it's all right.
I'm a product of the 80s, and I'm proud of it, man. Good times.
I never thought I'd say I miss it, but I miss it.
So I guess we're coming up towards the end. You know, we always kind of promise people an hour, but I want to give people the opportunity at this time to. If you have any questions that you need to throw out, or that you want to ask us before we close out, now's the chance to do it. Yeah. So you guys can throw those out there. And Karen, I'm wondering if you're saying that you are a product of the 80s too, or you got hired because of spandex, or Mike's story. I don't know. We're just having too much fun with the 80s.
Well, I will say that, it's good to see you guys again. It's definitely, hey, there you go, Brad. It's good to, it's good to talk to you guys again. It's been a little while, so we're going to get back on track with this. But we want to mention, Justin, that we have coming up this month, or well, next month. I guess we're almost to September.
Yep.
But mid September, we have the photographer event coming up. So we're going to have some virtual classes with Tracy McGlosky on the Olympus end, and definitely go to the camera shop and get Olympus to check that out and sign up for some of those classes for sure. Thanks, Rick. Graduated in 92. All right. I was 91.
92. All right.
Yeah.
Just a little 10 years shy of that, but that's okay. That's okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm excited for this photographer event. I mean, I really wish that we got to do this in person. We were really hoping that the lockdown to some extent would have been lifted and we could have done this, but we had kind of graduated to where we could have big events. Now, if we did an outside event, we could have 100 people, but if we do inside, we've got, and that's what we should have done. We should have done a big tent in the parking lot and just put 100 chairs in there or something, So it's something. Yeah, Mike Deford. Russ is saying Russ Smith is 95. Oh, 95. Now, is he saying he graduated in 95, or is he saying he born in 95?
No, I believe he. Russ, did you graduate in 95?
Yeah.
Or were you born in the? Man, I would love to be born in 95 now. Oof.
And Karen is saying, thank you for convincing me to go to the dark side. Olympus is not the dark side. It's the
dark side.
It's the light, because everyone else has been going to kind of the mainstream stuff, and this is really just. It's really, I would say it's a dark horse. It's like nobody really saw it coming. It's kind of like
there's a lot of good cameras out there now. There's no bad cameras anymore.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of different choices, but marketing in America, we get hit with so many of the big guys that we, sometimes feel like we have to be part of that crowd. I always love going the opposite way. I always go with the underdogs, but there's a lot of fun to be had. There's a lot of good cameras to check out, and we have a lot of fun with the Olympus stuff. I can't wait to get back in the store and do some photo walks and things of that nature. But we have a lot of fun. So
yeah, and the thing is, we could probably start doing some photo walks here at some point. It's at least not sanctioned ones through Olympus or something, but we could do something through the store. I'm sure. But yeah, it's just one of my favorite things is. I keep on seeing Karen getting excited about the camera over here. All I can say is that there's a lot of good camera systems out there. I have always told people that cameras are tools, and the at the end of the day, Chase Jarvis has this quote: "The best camera is the one that's with you." He even wrote a book on it. Yeah. And if it's your cell phone, it's your cell phone. If it's your removable lens camera, it's your removable lens camera. But I've got a good customer. His name is Dave Myers. And he came into the store, and it really didn't dawn on me. I was a big Canon shooter up at that point. It was around 2015 because I know the E-M10 IV Mark II just came out. And I was asking him, I was like, Dave, you have 3 camera systems, right? He goes, yeah. I said, why do you have 3 camera systems? In the day and age where a lot of people are kind of like, no, it's got to be Canon or all or nothing with whatever brand that you're loyal to. And he goes, Justin, I'm going to tell you why I have 3 camera systems. And what he told me changed the way I look at cameras entirely, and how I kind of encourage people to purchase their cameras. He told me, he says, Justin, I've got Nikon, I've got Sony, and I've got Olympus. He says there's 3 different reasons why I have those cameras. My Nikon I use for event photography. I throw the flash on top of that. I go into a room, kind of like a church or an event hall. And I know when I set it to these settings, I know exactly what I'm going to get out of that camera, and it's my tried and true event photography camera. He says, now my Olympus I got because I wanted something that was pocketable, because he's got I think he's got like a 35-1.8 lens on there that he likes to keep small in his pocket. And he says, when I go for my evening walk, I want to have something I can put in my jacket pocket and I can pull out, take a couple quick snapshots, and put it away. And then he says, I got my Sony A7R, because he got the first generation R. He says, I got my Sony because I wanted a resolution monster. I wanted something like when I create my landscapes that I have these really big files that I can work with. And he says, so those are 3 particular and very distinct reasons why I'm using these cameras. And at that point in time, that changed the entire way that I view the landscape of cameras, because here I am, I've got 2 Olympus cameras, I've got 2 Sony cameras, and I've got a Canon camera, and I still like using them all. And I would love to have a Fuji camera. I would love to have a Nikon camera.
Yeah, they all have different look, different feel, different thing, but it does get expensive also with, the average person. It gets expensive with all the different lenses and but there is a difference with each brand. We all have our strengths,
And that's what I'm kind of saying. It's like, even though it can get expensive and people see that, you really have to look at it as like, you can really kind of narrow in and isolate what camera is going to do what for you. So for me, again, the Olympus ends up being my all-in-one camera system that I take with me everywhere. So no matter what, if I go out for dinner down at the deck or at Dockers or something here in town, if the sun starts setting, I can pull my camera out and start taking awesome photos, and I don't have to go back to the car for some big camera system. Now, if I'm going out and I want to get like really great, awesome, crazy high resolution landscape shots or night shots, I got my Sony with me. But I still bring my Olympus because I can do star trails with it right out of the camera.
Well, when I came to Olympus, I was somewhere else, and I was having a lot of fun again with my photography, because I wasn't leaving the cameras in the car because they were too big. I was taking them with me, and the technology in mirrorless had changed, and it was starting to get faster and better. And so I dumped my SLRs, and that's just my personal thing, because I've been selling mirrorless since the beginning, right? And so if I could share my screen really quick, let me see if I can get on here and just show you this. So can you see that or no? Can't, right? No. Can you see the picture? No.
The background, I see an island.
What happened in my picture? There we go. Try that.
There you go.
So I took this shot of my daughter. It's not the greatest shot, but that's window light with a 75-1.8, and that was on the EM5 Mark II. That was the first image I took with Olympus. And I was like, okay. And I worked on this image, and I'm like, I'm not seeing much of a difference from what I was getting with my other system. And that's what sold me. It was, I was with Panasonic when 4/3 was introduced, and it was great because we have the small, light camera system and the whole concept of 4/3. And then I went away from that for a little while. And when I came back in 2015 with 4/3, it was great to see where that had gone, where that technology had gone. And so I've really been amazed with what you can do. And you're right. And everybody has, their strengths, and it's so fun, man. And yeah, if we could have a choice to have different stuff, it'd be fun, man. But not all of us work at a camera shop, Justin.
Well, I why do you got to pick on me like that, man? It's not why I have more than one camera. I've actually gotten people who start to divest their interest between 2 systems, because it ends up being, again, what they can do with their Olympus, they can't do with their other camera. So it's like, it's the fun, it's all the fun.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, okay. I've had a lot of fun. So, at any rate, so you want to wrap this up?
Yeah, I haven't seen any. I haven't seen any questions. We've had too much fun. I think we've had more fun than anything else here in the last 15, 20
minutes. It's been a couple months. I don't even think I've talked to you that much in the last month. So it's.
I know we're playing catch up on live air.
I'm ready to go grab a beer, and see if I can hand hold for 20 seconds like David.
There you go. Yeah.
We should just all switch this over to Zoom now. We have everybody just go over to Zoom, and we'll have a little contest on who can handhold the longest with however many beers.
There we go. Yeah, that's fun. Oh boy.
Yeah. Well, so anyway, you guys, it's been great to see you guys again, to come back on. Same thing with you, Justin. It's nice to talk again.
I know. It's nice to see you too.
Yeah. So we'll probably do this again next month, I would think. Probably again that last week or so of the month.
Yeah, they're keeping. Everyone kind of has their own Wednesday now between. There's everyone is kind of fixed between Sigma and Olympus. Kind of have their same Wednesday of every month.
Yeah, everybody stole my gig. The original Wednesdays with Olympus.
Yeah.
All the other manufacturers jumped on now. So.
Well, I think we just made it easier. We just kind of picked a day, and Wednesdays was a good day for everyone. It's midway through the week, it's like hump day. We got to get through the rest of the week. This is like we're turning.
I don't mind starting everything out. It's okay. I'll start the trends. It's okay, Jeff.
hey, Mike, you and I have been here doing a lot of this stuff from the very beginning. So yeah, we were doing it, man.
Yeah. Yeah, we finally got nailed down trying to figure out how to do all this stuff.
Yeah,
All this technology.
We're experts now. Yeah.
Yeah, except I'm no longer in Florida, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I'd like to go back. But at any rate, so yeah, it's definitely good seeing you guys. Thank you very much for coming on board and checking us out. Don't forget photographer coming up, the photographer event coming up with the Camera Shop. Check out Get Olympus, check out Camera Shop Muskegon on Facebook or online to check out how to sign up for some of those different classes. If you have an issue, just let me know on Facebook or what have you. But it's been good. I appreciate everybody coming. I appreciate you guys as customers and as photographers. So thank you.
Hey, thanks a lot, guys. Well, everyone have a good night. We'll see you very soon. Check out our events tab on Facebook, as Mike was saying. You can find us at Facebook, Camera Shop Muskegon. You can find us camerashopmuskegon.com and on Instagram at Camera Shop Muskegon. So if you want to figure out what we've got going on for our events, like the photographer event that's coming up here in September, that's on our events page. And you can also find that on Get Olympus page. And if you are a Get Olympus user, a lot of great information and educational things on the educational tab on that site. You can log into any one of the live classes that are happening around the country any given week. And it's just a huge resource for you people who are just learning your camera, want to learn more about your camera, or see what people are producing. If you guys have any questions for me, don't be shy. Come into the store. We're here Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. and Saturday, 10 to 2 to get you guys squared away. So,
and if you guys are interested in the new lens or the new camera, get a hold of Justin or check out the camerashopmuskegon.com. Also, we have the Test and Wow going on, which very soon should have probably a 100 to 400 and an E-M10 Mark IV, I would think. So if you guys want to soon check that out, where you can try that out. So get a hold of Justin for some details or check out the website. And yeah, that's it. Thanks, Justin. Thanks, everybody.
Guys. Hey, everyone, have a good night. We'll see you guys soon. Any questions, you know where to find us. In the meantime, take care. Have a great night.
Yeah, have a good night, everybody.